for our political reporter panel, staff writer for The Atlantic, Toluse Olorunnipa, and Politico's White House reporter, Sophia Cai. So, Toluse, you used to cover the White House with me, and you did it for Bloomberg. I just want to ask you about this whole thing with the chip makers and this 15% payment to the U.S. government for export licenses. I know there are national security implications. I know the president loves to exercise transactional authority, but this seems to me to be like jaw-dropping.
It's unprecedented. We've never seen this kind of deal before. It is in line with the way that President Trump likes to operate. He wants to make sure that America, the government, he himself is getting credit or is getting some kind of benefit from any of the foreign trade deals or foreign transactions that are happening, especially when it comes to China being an adversary, being someone that we're competing with in this AI race. He is very clearly wanting to make sure that the U.S. gets something out of it. He thinks this is a deal that will benefit the U.S. government. He's trying to bring in tariff revenue, and now he's bringing in money directly from these companies for their foreign exports.
But, Sophia, it creates a dynamic where other companies have to start asking themselves, what do they have to do to get some sort of favored treatment? Tim Cook with Apple was exempted from various tariffs for special underlying products in the iPhone. You got this. This creates a mad dash, it seems.
And I think that's a part of the point. I mean, you saw Tim Cook get up there last week and hand Trump this sort of uniquely, one-of-a-kind crafted glass that had been made in a factory in Kentucky. And he's announced, and this is a big deal, that from now on, every piece of glass that you use in an iPhone or an Apple Watch will be made in the U.S. I think, some of these actions, to Trump's credit, have pushed U.S. companies to make that step, to make things here. And so, yeah, I think you'll probably see some companies say, and right, this is happening at GSA, under the level of the president, but at GSA, there's someone named Josh Greinbaum, who's the head of federal acquisitions, who's, getting all of these companies to come to the table to say, what have you got for the U.S. government? They got AWS to give the U.S. a $1 billion coupon. That's also unprecedented.
We use that word a lot, and we wish we didn't have to, but we have to use it because these things don't have a precedent. We also have something that is very new in this city, the District of Columbia. The president today declaring emergency, as I mentioned in the open of the show, the 21st of his 2 terms in office. 21 emergencies under President Trump, this one related to crime. Scott McFarland was just on set with me saying 30 days is how long it is likely to last, but it's still a very big deal.
It is a big deal, and if President Trump has his way, this will be something that lasts far beyond the 30 days, not just the federalizing of the D.C. police, but he wants to remake the entire city. He wants to, get rid of the homeless encampments. He wants to create this big ballroom on the White House. He wants to even talked about filling potholes and covering them up with fresh asphalt. So this is a clear effort that he wants to do more than just federalize the police department and put the National Guard on the streets. He wants to do that, and maybe that will last for 30 days, but he has this broader vision of recreating Washington, D.C., even sort of being a kind of mayor. Remember that he appointed himself as the leader of the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. So he has an interest in the city, and he wants to really lead the city in a way that we've never seen a president before, since there is already a mayor and a D.C. City Council that are already doing these things.
Empowered by the voters to act on their behalf.
Exactly. He wants to usurp that power and have it for himself.
And, Sophia, I know you're chomping at the bit to talk about the New York mayor's race. We haven't talked about it on the Takeout for a while, but it's still churning in interesting directions.
Yes, and Mamdani today is sort of taking...
Zohran Mamdani, yes.
Zohran Mamdani, he's front runner in the mayoral race in New York. He has taken a page out of Trump's playbook, and he said, all right, Trump's going to do this in D.C., and he's just announced a 5-borough tour, an anti-Trump tour. And in many ways, he's now making it about himself and his campaign. I mean, this is someone who's quick on his feet. And, just like someone like Jasmine Crockett, he sort of put himself on the national stage and tried to get under Trump's skin. And that's what's going on, the latest in the New York race.
And that is a tactic designed to intensify hostility to Trump on his behalf, to sort of take Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo out of the conversation.
Right. I mean, I think you even see the Republican candidate in that race.
Curtis Leawood.
He say that, Trump, stay out of it. We know that there were some conversations about whether Trump would endorse. And, I think the Republican Party in New York knows that the more that it's, a Trump versus Mamdani, the better it could be for Democrats.
And to allude to your earlier point, Trump doesn't stay out of much at all.
He wants to be involved in everything, from the Kennedy Center to the New York mayor's race to even potentially taking over other cities like Chicago and Baltimore.
With whispers in New York City that he might try to find a way to endorse Andrew Cuomo and push Eric Adams out, or vice versa. Who knows? It vacillates by the hour and by the New York Post headline. Otherwise, well, look at the New York Post, right? Yeah. Toluse Olorunnipa, Sophia Cai.